So when it comes to the 2025 GSX-S1000 GX, oh my goodness, there's a lot of G's, S's and X's in the name of this motorcycle. But yeah, when it comes to this motorcycle, you guys, I can't help but think that arguably this engine isn't quite right for this motorcycle, because the type of riding that you're going to be doing on a frequent basis really doesn't allow you to use this engine at its full potential, especially for the audience that this bike is trying to capture. The thing is, you guys, like, it sounds like a criticism, and it kind of is, but at the same time, it really isn't, because I know what this bike is capable of, and I mean, I've ridden the GSX-S1000 as well, and this engine is exactly the same. It feels very, very similar. Both these bikes feel very, very similar to ride, but on this bike, it feels a little bit different. Now, what I mean by that is, so when you look at other hyper tourers, hyper sport tourers, like my Kawasaki ZR1400, like what other bikes are there? Yeah, you got the H2 SX from Kawasaki as well. What else? I mean, even from within Suzuki's own lineup, the GSX-8R. Now, what those bikes are able to do, which this bike isn't, is produce torque in the lower RPMs. Now, this is in the full power mode, so I say full power mode. It doesn't actively change the power output, it just changes where the power comes in on the rev range. But anything below, basically 2000 RPM, nothing. Right, this is in fourth gear as well. Nothing. But if I'm at 5,000 RPM and do the same thing, I get loads of power. And the problem is that the way how this bike is geared, woo, it makes it quite difficult to access. This bike is, the engine in this bike is really more designed to be in a super sport motorcycle than this. It's more suited for a super sport, and arguably a bit more suited for a naked as well, but you could also make the same argument with the GSX-S1000 as well here. But this bike's gearing is crazy. It's quite unnecessary, to be honest with you. When we did our 0 to 60 runs earlier on our first impressions ride review, which heavily recommend that you check out, by the way, like, we got up to 60 miles an hour and there was so much more left to give on this bike. It had so much extra headroom, and it just seemed like a waste. Like, if Suzuki just shortened the gearing a little bit, maybe, so top end of first gear, maybe you're looking at 65, 70 mile an hour as opposed to well over 80 mile an hour, I think that would have been a better choice for this bike, because it means that more of the power is accessible on everyday roads. Like, I still want to be able to have fun on the bike, but if the power is out of reach, then it means that you're having to break speed limits all the time to try and have some fun on the bike, which for street riding, which is what this bike is meant for, I don't know, might not have been the best call. And that's the annoying thing, is that I actually really like it. I actually really like and appreciate the torque curve of this bike and how it is delivering power. And the thing is, if you don't mind riding like a hooligan, then you're not going to care. That's the thing that I'm struggling with this bike. Like, on the GSX-S1000, it makes a lot of sense because you're meant to ride that as a hooligan bike. But this is meant to be more of a gentlemanly, like, riding experience. And if you need a bit of power, then you have it there. But the problem is on this bike is that in a lot of cases you don't actually have that power there. Not when you need it, not at the speeds that you're actually going to be doing every day. So it's just a shame that the gearing has been kind of geared, pardon the pun, to top speed of the bike, as opposed to usable speed, if you know what I mean, usable power. And there's always going to be that trade-off, you guys, where you've got top speed, which I bet this bike's top speed is actually quite high because of that long gearing, at least long gearing in first gear anyway, first and second. It probably didn't need that kind of gearing in first and second, but anyway, yeah, I bet that the top speed of this bike is pretty high in comparison to its competitors. And it probably didn't need to be. It's probably just a spec thing, you know? Like, let me give you a great example here, because this is a bike that I actually think... see, I don't want to give too much away here, because I actually want to shoot a video about this later on. But the Kawasaki 1000 SX, or nowadays the 1100 SX. So, very, very similar in a lot of ways to this bike. It's a 1 litre inline 4, producing 150 horsepower, a load of torque, and a very similar riding position to this. But you have a lot more torque in the lower RPMs on that bike, and less top end horsepower on that bike than you do with this. So it's kind of like opposites, where you get not a lot of torque on this bike in the lower RPMs, you're getting a load of top end horsepower. On the 1000 SX, you're getting a lot more torque in the lower RPMs and a little bit less top end horsepower. So I suppose it kind of depends on the type of riding that you enjoy doing, but yeah, I mean, the thing is, you guys, it's just different. It's just a different kind of ride, this bike. It's not what I was expecting. At least, I mean, I kind of knew what to expect because I've ridden the GX-S1000, but if I hadn't ridden that bike and I just got onto this one, I would think, wow, that's a little bit odd. And the funny thing is as well, is that this electronic throttle, the way how Suzuki have tuned it, so it feels like there's loads of torque. But actually, when you open up a bit more, Jesus Christ, man. Well, the brakes on this bike are good. Very, very good. I think even locked it up there. Engaged the ABS. Oh my goodness, yeah, you're going for it, mate, aren't you? Blimey. Yeah, brakes very good on this bike. Considering the weight as well, it's a lot of bites. I have to try and slow down in a hurry. What was I saying? Yeah, it's just different, you guys. It's just Suzuki's vision of how power should be delivered in a rev range is just different to everybody else. That doesn't make it any worse or any better. It just depends on the kind of riding experiences that you enjoy. But if you want to ride this bike like a hooligan, it's not going to quite satisfy the itch in the same way as other bikes would. Having said all that, I like this bike. I genuinely do. And the thing is, because I'm a super sport rider and a naked rider, I appreciate this kind of engine, the way how it's been tuned, the way how it's been set up. It's been set up for someone like me. So like an older version of me, where I'm looking for a bike that is significantly more comfortable than a super sport, but I'm getting a super sport like riding experience. Oh, come on, man. Wheelie control kicking in quite heavily there. A bit annoying. So yeah, this bike does hold you back a little bit, you guys. It does hold you back a little bit, but I still really like it. Wahoo! Oh, see, here's a funny thing. On when we do the ride reviews, like that's just my first impressions of the bike. But then after I've shot those videos and I really get an opportunity to get to know the bike, this is when these other kind of thoughts come into my mind about the bikes. So I can go into a lot more detail about the riding experience and how it feels. And well, you see what I mean there? Like, it felt like there was loads of power, but then it kind of mellows out as you open up the throttle a little bit more. This is so tough, you guys, because this would be a really good track bike because of all that top end horsepower, because of that really seriously responsive suspension, and because of the quick shifter and the brakes. This bike would make a really good track bike. You would be scraping pegs quite a lot, but I mean, it's just the way the engine's been set up. As I said, this is a motorcycle made for someone like me, and same with the GSX-S1000 as well. But what's funny is that if I want to ride a motorcycle with lots of horsepower and lots of top end horsepower, why wouldn't I just ride a Super Sport? Why would I get something like this? And that's what I find myself asking, is what would be the point in someone like me getting something like this? And there probably isn't much reason for me to pick up a motorcycle like this, because it doesn't really offer anything more than what I have at home on Super Sports that are 20 years old. Like on my Daytona 955i, is producing just as much top end horsepower as this, just as much torque as this. It's lighter. It's missing out on all of the modern tech stuff, but as I mentioned many times before, I care about riding experience first and foremost. I don't care about the tech package, I don't care about the looks of the bike, I don't care about the sound of the bike as much as I care about the overall riding experience. And that's the thing, is that I think this bike suits a very specific niche of rider, and that even comes down to the looks, you guys. The looks of this bike I don't think are going to be for everybody. It's not the nicest looking motorcycle, it's very utilitarian. Some people would like the hard wearing nature of this bike. I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. But the GSX-8R looks nicer than this. You know what I mean? So Suzuki know how to make nice looking bikes, but they've chosen this aesthetic. They've chosen a lot of things about this bike that are very niche, and I'm not sure if that's a good thing or not. But some short tweaks to the bike would make a world of difference, and it would really make it stand out. The thing that makes it stand out is this tech package at this price point. It's a lot of tech, a lot of goodies for a motorcycle that's 15 grand. That's a lot of bang for buck, especially when you're looking at the active suspension and all the other bits and pieces this bike has. But service, yeah, no, that's all right. That's a job for Frasers. It's so annoying because this bike has got a lot of things that other bikes that I really like are missing. If I could like put these two bikes together, that'll be sick. That'd be ideal. But yeah, I mean, is this bike making too much top end horsepower and kind of missing out on the lower end torque, which arguably is more important for street riding? I don't know. Look, I'm gonna put this out there, you guys, right? When I say that, I'm being very nitpicky here. Alright? I'm being very, very nitpicky. So when I'm riding the bikes, the demo bikes, I'm not thinking necessarily just about how I feel about the bike. I'm thinking about how other people might feel about the bike as well, and whether or not this would suit a different kind of rider's riding habits or the type of experience that they want. I'm not sure if the demographic that this bike would be aiming at would actually suit the people in that demographic. I'm I'm hoping that makes sense to some of you. I don't know. It's difficult to kind of explain when you're not actually riding the bike. I suppose, you guys, when it has to compete with bikes like the H2 SE from Kawasaki, I guess that they do have to kind of put in a little bit more emphasis on top end power, top end feel. But that bike has got a lot of lower end torque as well, so yeah, it kind of swings and roundabouts, this, you guys. Because for me, if we're talking about me and the type of bike that I like to ride, I think this is a great bike. And I enjoy sport touring bikes. I think sport touring bikes, some of the best motorcycles you'll ever ride are sport touring bikes. And this is no exception. This is one of the best sport touring bikes I think I've ever ridden. But would I take this over some of the other bikes that I mentioned? And this is where it gets a bit sticky for me. Because, I mean, I want to save that for another video, so I think I will, but this is very good nonetheless. My goodness, it's windy today. We're just on the back end of a storm, so even though we haven't got the rain, we've still got all the wind that's kicking. But yeah, man, that's the frustrating thing about this bike, you guys, is that I really like it. I just don't know if you would. You know, there are other bikes in this class that I like better than this. Not necessarily the H2 SX. Let's get out of the way. I don't know if this bike is better or worse than the H2 SX SE. I'll leave that for the next video that we'll be filming today, which you should definitely subscribe and hit the notification bell for so you don't miss it, because you might be surprised at my assessment, my conclusion. But this is so tough, you guys. It's so tough, because I really like this bike. And I'll tell you what, if Suzuki had tuned the wheelie control so you could pick up the front end and hold it there without it just like dropping the front end to the ground again, that'd be ace. I think that would make all the difference for me. Genuinely, I think I'll make a huge difference to the riding experience and hooliganability of this bike. Well, I don't know, you guys, there you have it. Thank you ever so much for joining us on this ride out today on the awesome Suzuki GSX-S1000 GX. I've honestly thoroughly enjoyed this bike, and I don't want to take anything away from it either. But it's almost like Suzuki's focus with this bike has been a little bit misplaced. That's all I'm trying to say here, because it's still a great bike, it's still a lot of fun, and it's still got a lot of goodies that I really appreciate and enthusiasts really appreciate. I think this is an enthusiast level bike, but an average Joe kind of rider, I don't know if they would appreciate this as much as someone like me. That's all I'm trying to say, you guys. But you let me know down in the comment section below what you think of this motorcycle. Don't forget to leave that like, hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you don't miss any more videos from us, and we will catch you all in the next video. Take care, ride safe, have a good one.